Hello, hello, hello out there. Nicole Roberts Jones here, and welcome to another week of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. I'm always excited to be here to bring information to you in one of three areas. Number one, what is your brilliance, your purpose, the one thing God created you to do or be in this world? The second is the value tied to it. It's interesting to me how so many people overlook their gift, don't realize the value, not just for you, but for all the people that need you. And then number three, how do you make multiple streams of revenue from it? Now, I'm beyond excited about today's conversation. Before I start going in, come on in, tell me hello, tell me name and where you're from. You'll see me looking here on my iPad to look for your comments. As my grandmother always says, don't come in this house and not speak. So at least tell me hello and tell me where you are in the world today. If, as our guest for this week shares, if she shares anything that resonates with you, steps on your toes a little bit, feels good, anything, I want to hear from you. You can give her some fire emojis, some heart emojis, and literally, we are here for you. And so we want to hear from you. Good morning, Nicole in Chicago in the house. I love your name, girl. So, with that said, let's get this party started. So, let me tell you, this particular guest is so giving and so humble that because her schedule was so busy and she ended up having a conflict. She said, "Listen, I want to get on and can we still do it?" And so, just minutes ago, right before I hopped on here with you, I pre-recorded her interview. And so I am still here with you live. I'm going to come back at the end to wrap up, but grab your seatbelt because I know she's going all the way in. So listen into this conversation with our guest for this week. So I am beyond excited to welcome today's guest. You better buckle your seatbelt, get a pen, because I know she's going to go all the way in. She is Nick Cobert, Esquire, because she is a lawyer by trade. However, for nearly 2 decades, and I'm reading her bio because she's yummy, but I don't want you guys to miss anything. For nearly 2 decades, she's been an entrepreneur and advocate for the small business community. She's an executive coach and business strategist who specializes in developing management, legal, and branding strategies for leaders in the business world. Now, on top of all that, she's a council member of the National Women's Business Council, right? And I can go on about that advises the White House, Congress, and the SBA on matters concerning women in business. So if that wasn't enough, she serves on the Access to Capital Subcommittee and chairs the Communications Subcommittee. She is also the principal managing partner of Cober, Johnson and Romney, an award-winning legal and business consulting firm. So good, right? Now, no matter what the platform is, Nick is regarded as an expert on business matters and personal success strategy. But the thing I'm really excited about currently is that on 2/2/22, Nick, who is the founder, but she won't call herself the founder, but she is the idea behind this, when she and 49 plus Black women owners became the founding members of the Bow Collective, an organization whose members collaborate to scale their businesses through capital, communications, and contracts. So help me welcome Miss Nick. I'll say Nicole. Hey, Nick.
Girl, how are you?
I'm great. So excited to have you here. And let me just go and selfishly right out of the gate. The thing that I think is so yummy about you is your selflessness. That you never call yourself the founder, and I'm outing her today because she will say founding member. She is the brainchild behind the Bow Collective. She will not say that, so I'm saying it for her. One, two, the fact that you would bring others in the journey of such an opportunity that we might partner together because we do better together. So tell us why you decided to even do the Bow Collective.
Well, well, first of all, thank you, sister. Look, your check is in the mail. That was a wonderful bio and introduction. But, I have a couple of things that I have always been a part of: small business and women's organizations, Black women's organizations. In particular. So I always say I'm part of all the girls groups, the Links, Delta. I'm the chair of 12 Days of Christmas. And so that's my default position. I work collaboratively with women on issues related to our community. Small business, as you mentioned, I have owned and operated two small businesses over 20 years. And along that journey, I have stumbled, fallen, gotten back up, but I've gotten great counsel from all kinds of entities and people. So the SBA, just other small businesses. And I thought, like, what about fusing those two things together? Because, in the small business community, you cannot go it alone. Number one. Number two, there's no reason to do things by yourself because someone has always done some aspect of the process of business before. So collaborating, connecting, is just in my DNA. And when the opportunity presented itself last year, I went to another conference. It was actually the Enterprising Women's Conference in November. And I have been a board member there. I linked up with some amazing women just in general in the small business community, and thought about this idea, like, there's so many resources for women, and when we link up, how we empower, but there's not a lot of attention focused specifically on this disparity of resources for Black women entrepreneurs. And so I thought, why not come together and focus on three things: capital, communications, and contracts? How can we work together, provide that narrative, and stay focused on growing our businesses together? And I really knew about 70 women who had scaled their businesses over $1 million. And I put that offer out to them, like, what do you all think? And when I tell you, within 60 days, we were at the Salamander launching the Bow Collective together.
So good. And, the thing that I think is so interesting, and I'll tell you my selfish desire to be a part of it, right? So the fact that Black women are the fastest growing group of business owners, and yet we
Yes.
have a whole big disparity toward capital and resources. In
Yes.
addition to the fact that it's already lonely to be an entrepreneur, but then you don't have a sister friend to say, girl, I need your help, right?
Yes.
You know where to
Absolutely.
go. So that one is the reason why I was so excited about Bow Collective, and I'm a telling myself. So when she made the announcement, and we're both in the same link chapter, right? So listen, she said million, if you're making $1 million over, well, I'm not at $1 million yet, but I applied anyway. Let me tell you why. Because I was so doggone excited about what she was doing. I was like, I hope I fit some kind of way, right?
Yes.
And so I'm sharing that with many of you because sometimes you miss an opportunity because you think you don't fit. And listen, I was like, I don't care if I don't fit. If I got to knock on the door and sit outside the door, I don't care. I'm gonna listen.
And girl, guess what happened? Didn't we? We carved out space. We carved out space for our sister business owners, because guess what? Even though they're 0.05% of all women, Black women owned businesses over $1 million, 250,000 or more, that's still 1%. So we wanted to bring these sisters, you, into that fold, be in these meetings together, share these resources and relationships, and do business, number one, with each other. We have several sister business owners that have IT companies that are already collaborating with the Bow members, and then we have those under 1 million and under 250 that are starting businesses. They are under 250, but they want to be tapped into this beautiful Black woman ecosystem that we're creating. And it is, Nicole, I just am just humbled by how all of these women are coming with their best game, their best ideas, their opening their Rolodexes. I know somebody here, this was my experience with this bank. Let me introduce you. And so before we even formalize and provide structure, those relationships that we developed at the Salamander are already percolating and permeating results and wins. And I'm just delighted about it.
And the thing that I really want to applaud you for and celebrate you for, and then be excited for myself for the nerve. But I'm transparent, y'all. You know how I do. Those of you that watch every week. So
can I just say this before you do that? This is the organization will not fail because we are all acting in our self-interest, and it's celebrated. It's not discouraged. I want your business. I want to do business with you. I want my business to succeed. I am unapologetic about wanting to grow. That is our collective mission. So it's a both and, not an either or.
And the reason I even brought this all up is because this is what I know from, the women I'm blessed to work with at the starting gate, because my ideal client is starting out. And some of you are at 10 years in, but you're not making predictable revenue, so you're still at the starting point. Most
Yes.
people don't even get to 200,000. Most people never get to six figures. And
Yes.
it's only because you either need to be in a community, which is why I was excited about Bo, because a
Yes.
starter community, which there's so many starter communities out there, but they start you, but they don't help you get to the finish line to at least get to six figures.
Yes.
I'm past that point. I'm like, I don't know where to lay my head. So for
Yes.
me to grow me, because listen, you never want to coach that's not being coached. That's
Yes.
not in a community that thinks it's
Absolutely.
arrived, because none of us have arrived. There's always more for all of us.
Always.
And so
Always.
knowing that I had to be willing to be vulnerable and say, girl, listen, I'm not
Yes.
there yet, but I'm coming. And all I need
Yes.
is support. So I'm sure that because somebody that's listening is at that place, whether you have a 9 to 5 and maybe you're making six figures in your daytime job, but you have this desire to literally start a business alongside your 9 to 5, or you've been in business for years, but you haven't yet hit it. Listen, I'm
Yes.
I'm going to stop real quick, take a commercial break, and I'm going to share with you. Many of you guys know I'm doing a 2-day intensive. I do it twice a year, called Be the Answer. And at this event is literally, you are the reason I created the event, ladies that are just starting. And gentlemen, you're welcome too. But because we're talking about Black women, it makes me want to make it women focused. So let me take this quick commercial, play this real quick, and then we'll come back for more conversation with Nick. Hi, Nicole Roberts Jones here, and I was thinking of you and why. Why you have this big desire to grow or start your business, and why I really am committed to holding the space for you to go after the abundance with your name on it. And why Be the Answer? My event is a place that will foster your ability to do just that. See, maybe you're somebody who's been to a seminar before, or maybe you've watched live stream from home. Well, what I know is the women entrepreneurs who attend Be the Answer expect to get the best of the best business education that's out there. But more than education, they need implementation. And they're ready to bust through their self-imposed limits, because what they don't expect is to have their entire life be transformed. See, Be the Answer is a lot different than just sitting around a conference room round table, straining your eyes, squinting so you can see the monitor and take notes, right? See, Be the Answer is about shifting who you are. It's about shifting what you do and how you choose to make money from the inside out. See, this is what I like to call a gut check change. See, this is knowing from that rumble in your belly that you have a gift, and there are people waiting on that gift as the very thing they need, and will pay for. See, it's learning what you need to do, the step-by-step to make all the money that's available for you to make. And it's about knowing who you are, creating a movement, building a brand and a personality that makes you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, while it allows you to make a difference. See, it's about leveraging who you are, what you do, and why you do it to transform the lives of millions of people that are waiting for you. See, listen, what I know for sure is we get into business. You got into business. You're committed to do this because you're sick and tired of being told what to do, or getting a paycheck from somebody else instead of writing your own. See, we get into business because we love what we do, and we won't stop until we're satisfied. See, we get into business because we care about making a difference in people's lives. We get into business because we want to make money while we make a difference, right? So let me ask you, why would you ever want to go to another conference where you just sit on your butt and take notes for 2 days? And see, that is why I really was committed to make Be the Answer like no other event you ever attended. See, it's transformational, it's groundbreaking, life-changing, and really, again, it's like nothing else you've ever gone to. See, you're not just going to be getting black and white facts. You're going to be living the facts. You're going to be implementing the facts, and you're going to be profiting from those facts. And get this, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, because no other conference gives you step-by-step information, has off-the-charts networking, right? And creates explosive action in your business. So, if you want to get clients, if you want to make connections, and go after the abundance, the money that's available to you, then Be the Answer is the place to be. If you're watching this, then that means that you know you have a gift to share. You know that you have a special something inside of you to help the world. And it starts at Be the Answer. So you're going to leave bolder than when you came. And that is richer than any amount of money you could ever make. That's richer in relationships. That's richer in your mindset. And that's richer in your own understanding. See, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it one more time. Be the Answer is the place to be. See, trust and believe. If you don't come if I don't see you there, it's on. It's because you and I both know that this is your year to stop dating destiny and truly get committed to it. So I can't wait to see you at Be the Answer. All right, and we are back continuing this yummy conversation. Nick is laughing at me, right? So here's the
I
thing.
love it. No, I'm so proud of you. Grateful that you are in this journey with these women, to give them clear answers. There's so much information out there that is intimidating and or really just wrong. And so
Mhm.
just knowing that we have trailblazers like yourself
Right.
out there, I'm
Like
so
all of us, listen, we all hold a light. You know, if we think about those that came before us, since we are almost out of Black History Month, but we still here. If we think about all the people that came before us, whose shoulders we stand on, we are yet a light. We can choose to be a light, or we can choose to live in darkness. And what you have become is beyond just a light. You're like a beacon of light because you're allowing us all to light each other's paths. And so tell us, what do you really hope for the bow is what I like to call it. What do you really hope for the bow as we grow and shift and transcend anything that's ever been done before?
I think number one, I really want these businesses to grow their business. It's very important. There's so many things that can come out of this, but I'm very laser focused in every business that I've ever had, that I go deep, not wide. I want to focus on getting capital for these women's businesses because they deserve it. They are top of class. They have proven measures of success. And we know that a lot of lending practices are subjective, and we believe that bringing them together will hold the banks accountable and
Yeah.
start funding these loans that can scale these businesses. Number one. Number two, I really want to have that reshape the paradigm of what it means to do business together. We have in our 50 businesses, we have several land developers, we have several attorneys, doctors, communication firms. What we're doing is instead of fighting over the small piece slice of the pie, we're going for all of the pie and we're collaborating. And that really is a mindset shift. So when I say that, yes, I want us to come together and get contracts, I think the other thing that I want to accomplish is a mindset shift about collaboration. Get excited about it. Say, hey, I can have this, you can have this, and get excited about the collaborative process. I think it's just a different paradigm. Another thing I want to have is I want to reshape the narrative on Black women. I really believe that we fall into these tropes of Black women not being able to work together. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
Every kind of organization, you're going to have strong opinions. But what I said at the beginning, I have worked in so many organizations where women, we put aside our differences, we check those egos at the door, and we keep the main thing, right? And I said, why instead of just doing it for philanthropic purposes, why not do it that will truly have systemic, seismic impact economically on our communications, on our communities, because we are putting these businesses in our communities, right? So if we're able to get more capital and contracts, that means we are getting more buildings for our businesses. We're having more FTEs, more employees that we're hiring. That means those employees are then buying homes because they're getting better wages and jobs. And so these are all the things that I envision, that I know can happen. My job as a leader is staying focused, going deep, not wide.
Yes.
And then most importantly, fostering these genuine relationships. What we started at the Salamander, that was just affection on another level, that people saw each
Mhm.
other as equals with admiration, etc. And you can build the best things off of that kind of love that we
Yeah.
created in the room.
So good, and even as I'm listening to you share, one of the things, and again, since this is Black History Month, what I'm reminded of, and those of you that are not familiar with the Salamander Resort and Spa, owned by a Black woman,
Yes,
Sheila
yes,
Johnson, and Sheila actually came that
yes.
day and poured into us. Do you
Yes.
want to share some of what you got out of what she shared with us that day?
Absolutely. Number one, it was my intention from the beginning. We actually were going to do the conference in DC. You know, it's probably easier for people. The Salamander is in the outskirts of Virginia a bit, but this Salamander has a special place in my heart. Miss Johnson, one of the business icons, literally, she and Bob Johnson started BET,
Mhm.
and she went on to go deep into the hospitality industry. The Salamander is her crown jewel in her, in her platform of businesses and entrepreneurial endeavors. And so we moved the conference there with the hope to celebrate her with our dollars as well as our gifts. And she not only was able to come, she was, number one, she told us of her challenges of being a Black woman trailblazer, and how the place that we were standing in was met with resistance and obstacles, and she persevered and she kept going. And so again, it's never the case that you're doing something or facing challenges that someone else hasn't faced. And so
Mhm.
her, as really the measure of all success for Black women, for her, someone with that's well financed and well connected, to still be receive resistance, that did something for the women in the room. It was an encouragement. It was something affirming to say, keep going, keep growing, and link up. She was so humble and gracious and supportive of our mission. And to get that out the gate,
Mhm.
Nicole, it just shows that the Bow Collective is going to be something very special. But let me tell you this, I hope we get repeated. I hope people see it. I hope they say, you know what, I could get my girls together and we could do that, girlfriend, do that. Because when you come together, then that is my bigger goal. We
Yeah.
gonna do it the best, and we gonna do it the first. But I want all of the people that see this to be inspired to start working together instead
Yes.
of going it alone, because that will truly mark our legacy, that we shifted a narrative there.
So good, so good. Listen, and she's been so good that I forgot she had a free gift. So listen, as you see her gift on the screen, and write it down so you can grab it. I'm going to ask you to close and tell about the gift, but I just again want to celebrate you because everything you just said that Sheila Johnson was that day and gave. She was transparent, she was humble, she gave us excitement and fuel. Is everything that you've already given the Vote Collective. If you did nothing else, Nicole, you've already given so much to all of us as members, and even for those that aren't members. When we read the articles in the paper and we watch what the Vote will do, I know it's inspirational and motivational and transforming lives. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for saying yes to a dream. Thank you for following the vision. Because how many of y'all had a vision and some of it's never happened? I've had some of those. So thank you for not just having it, but making it real, and for pulling us all into the journey with you. I really do appreciate you.
Thank
So
you,
to
sweetheart.
close, to give closing remarks and tell people about your book, I'll give you the floor.
Well, I want to say you gave me chills, because as an entrepreneur, but also as a self-proclaimed people pleaser and gatherer, that's my end result, is to bring joy to people. If you follow me, you know that I love women. I love my sisters. It's an affection. It's deeply rooted in my spirit. And so a lot of the things that I navigate, it really is to bring people together. It's a celebration. Bo is a celebration.
Mhm.
It really is. And because there's so much catalytic things you can do when you're happy, when you're open, when you're you just want to work together. And so that is my prayer personified, is that we keep that joy, we keep that love, we put that first. That's my journey, and you mentioned the book. I wrote a book several years ago about my first business. Hard Knock Life could really be an alternate title, is going through it alone. My first business, I had no partners, but I had a dream. I was able to put together a chain of hair salons and day spas in the DMV area. The economy and, just going it alone really was the cause of the closing of those businesses. But it taught me a fundamental lesson that at your point where you are the lowest, where you have no external uh, example of your greatness, God loves you. He is there. And all the noise went away from me when I had
Mm,
nothing left. He was so ever present and said, I've always been here. You just were a little distracted. And
mm,
now maybe I have your attention. And now you know I love you unconditionally.
yeah.
That was my message. And I rebuilt my foundation, Nicole, on the love of God, because I was able to deeply feel it. I wasn't looking for it for other people. I
Right.
felt it for him, and then I felt it for myself. And I
Mm,
really believe that I was able to rebuild and transform my life off of putting God first and then loving myself with that same type of unconditional love that I felt from him. And then I was able to focus on creating that love for other people. And my life has forever been changed.
mm,
I don't know if I say it like I like that in the book, but people are able to see my before, my middle, and my after, and then my rebirth. And I'm so grateful to share, continue to share, because it's always those painful stories
right.
that truly help you reflect and grow.
Yeah.
And then when you know that um, your journey is your pain has purpose, you can go through it and not be afraid of things, because you know that it's temporary and that he has you through it all.
Yes, and now you guys see, you've only seen a smidgen of who she be. So thank you for all you are. Thank you for pouring into our Black Doctor guests today. And just those of you that want to continue to watch the journey, you can follow the Bow Collective on Instagram. And then you're Nick Cober, Esquire.
Nick Cober, Esquire, theboatcollective.org. Follow us. We're going to, if I could do a shameless plug, we are going to have a podcast that's going to feature all 50 of our business stories. How amazing is that going to be? They're going to share tips. They're going to share their journeys. We're going to have seminars for our starter scalers, those women starting out. We're going to have you. We have Melinda Emerson. We have all these powerhouses that you all look up to and aspire. They are in one house. And so we're going to share them with you this year, share those nuggets, and just keep us all connected and growing in our businesses.
Listen, so make sure you follow. Don't miss it because you will miss out. Make sure you follow the Boat Collective on Instagram, Nick Cober Nick Cober Esquire on Instagram. So again, thank you, girl. I love you. I honor you. I adore you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I feel the same way. Thank you. Thank you to your listeners.
Now, was that not phenomenal? That conversation was so good. The thing that I absolutely love about Nick Cober, and this is for many of you, is that she started with a dream, a yearning, an inkling inside of her, and knowing that that inkling, that desire was bigger than her. And so I want to just applaud Nick for all she's doing, not just because I'm a member of the Bow Collective, but because of how I know she's going to bless not just the people now, but generationally. And so my question to you is, what are you doing to move your purpose, your gift, your desire forward? Again, I put up on the screen one more time. I invited you in the middle of this show to join for my 2-day intensive. Now, listen, it's virtual. You join me from the comfort of your home, March 18th and 19th. BeTheAnswerEvent.com. There's so much more on that page that will give you the insight you need to know, so you see if it's a good fit for you, right? Number one. Number two, here's what I ask you to do every episode. If you got any value out of this conversation, number one, I want you to share it. You know, and I'm looking over here, I'm looking, y'all been quiet on this episode. So Nick was going in so much, y'all just were quiet. So share the number one thing you got out of this conversation. Number two, share. Now, the reason I say share again, I don't ever ask you to share because I'm trying to grow my followers. I'm asking you to share because there's somebody else in your community that needs this insight, right? So I ask you to share it so that others too may be blessed by hearing from people like Nick Cober, right? And then if you want ongoing tools, techniques, strategy, also follow me on Instagram. All week long, every day, at least twice a day, I share insight, tools, tips. So I'm in Roberts Jones on Instagram. So with that, that's this week's episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'll be here again next Thursday, 12 p.m. EST. Tell somebody with more insight tools and another special guest. Have a phenomenal week. I'll see y'all next Thursday. Bye.